live stream this meeting. Setting up for your YouTube Live. And we have a live there. And let's make sure that it is coming through here so that I can monitor the chat if there are any questions that come on up. Make sure we have a live. And the audio is coming through. Love it. Hello, folk who are watching live and those who are tuning in for the replay. I am your host, Kate Mura, she or key pronouns, and I am incredibly excited to be chatting with Stephanie about, Stephanie, I forgot to ask your pronouns. What pronouns do you use?
She, her. I'm she, her. Thank you. Usually I say it in my thing and it didn't.
It's okay.
Thank you for asking.
Yeah, totally. It's usually one of those things that I remember to ask, but apparently I remembered in the moment. And we are going to be chatting about her most recent book, Tarot for Manifestation. And folk who are longtime watchers of this channel will know that to date, all of the people who I have had on, I have been like directly connected in some way. They have been friends of mine from Chicago pagan days. They're people that I have taken classes from at StarCon or gone on retreats with or been co-presenters with. But Stephanie and I have a completely different story. This is actually our first time chatting with each other. So we're going to be getting to know each other too. How we got connected, and please add in here, Stephanie, because it was a while ago. What I remember is I got a package one day. And I was, in fact, expecting a couple books and decks from friends to talk about on the channel. And I opened it up, and I had this. And I was like, this looks delightful. Tarot for Manifestation, attract your dream life through shadow work, visualization, and writing love letters to the universe. Definitely 100% right up my alley. But I'm like, I don't remember a Stephanie Capone. And it was not too long after I had presented at Convocation. And so I'm racking my brain. I'm like, was Stephanie one of the other people in the readers room? Did I meet that? And I'm like, and so I hopped on Instagram and I found you and scrolled through your page, and I'm like, I really don't remember meeting you. And so I slid into Stephanie's DMs and was like, hi, I got a copy of your book, and did I did we have a conversation somewhere that I am forgetting? Because I'm about to go to grad school and I don't actually know if I'm going to have time to read and talk about it on the channel. And Stephanie was so lovely and delightful. And do you want to pick up the story here?
So, friends, I also had no idea who Kate was. So I went, before I answered the DM, I went and hopped on her page and I was like, how do we know each other? And I noticed that you had done a YouTube interview with Charlie Burgess, who is, we're both with Hay House. And when I was in production, when I was in the middle of writing this book, I was doing a lot of bookstagram stuff. And so my publisher had sent me their books, and love, obviously. So we had
Oh my gosh,
connected that way. And I was like,
that's
oh,
so
you know
cool.
what? I bet my publicist was like, Kate was delightful. We've been sending Kate books from our catalog. And if you liked, you know, their book, you'll probably like this book too. So I was like, I think my publisher just got excited and sent you my book and hoped that it would be a meet cute.
And your publisher was completely correct. So
Yay,
good
thank you.
job on yours and Charlie's publishers. I yeah, it's it has been a long time in the coming back to this, which makes perfect sense that it's happening now with a Mercury retrograde and such good time for tying up loose ends. What was it that made you want to write this book?
Well, so several things. People who know me in the independent tarot world know me for my indie decks, Moon Void Tarot, which is an autobiographical tarot deck that follows one character, looks like me, and how my life falling apart really went in line with the fool's journey of starting over and all
Yeah.
the things. And just coming into shadow work and self inquiry and healing
Mhm.
and, changing old narratives and patterns and just all the stuff I did. And I did it all in my artwork. And
Yeah.
then my life started changing. Like some crazy stuff started happening, and it wasn't sad stuff. Like during the pandemic, for example, all my
Mhm.
jobs disappeared, all of the workshops and retreats and things that I was doing. And I don't have any like 1099s or W-2s, so I couldn't apply for any assistance. And honestly, I had a lot of shame around asking for assistance because being a white woman and having the privilege, I was like, I can't, like, that money, like, this needs to go for people who actually need it.
Yeah. Heard.
And so I'm like crying on the floor. I don't know what to do with myself.
Mm.
And then all of a sudden it kind of dropped in. It was like, well, if somebody came to you for a tarot reading
Mhm.
and they told you this exact thing, what would you say? And I started laughing. And I was like, oh my God, I would tell them, hello, the universe just cleared your schedule because something is trying to connect with you. Because I'd been doing all
Mhm.
this manifestation stuff,
Mhm.
but I hadn't really connected it with tarot. And then all of a sudden, a couple weeks later, a client who had bought my deck, she bought two copies, a copy for herself and a copy for her bestie. And her bestie reached out, who is an editor at Penguin Random House, and was like, hey, we're putting together, we want to publish a tarot, like a beginner's tarot for
Mhm.
intuitive reading. And
Mhm.
I loved your guidebook with your deck. We like your voice. Do you have time? Do you think you can write a book in like 3 months? We have a really tight turnaround. And that was this book,
Perfect.
which sits at number 2 on Amazon for the 6th straight year in the tarot category.
Kick ass. That's
Crazy. So
impressive. Yeah.
thank you. Yeah,
You're
it sold like
welcome.
over 200,000 copies, and it's in like at least 10 different languages. It's wild
Yeah.
stuff. And I was
And
like,
you
maybe
had,
there's something to this. So
yeah.
I started dabbling in marrying the practice of manifesting with tarot because the word manifestation kind of makes me want to throw up. I
Fair.
hate it.
What would you prefer? Because you are not alone in that at all. There some of the conversations I've been a part of is like, why use the word manifesting when like spell and spell crafting and like just personal and soul work are can also have similar meanings, and why use a word that has man in the title for like the hardcore feminists and things like that. So I would love to hear why manifestation and manifest is like word for you.
it it implies a lot of spiritual bypassing,
Mm,
and it also is synonymous with a level of privilege. And a
yeah.
lot of the manifestation rhetoric really glosses over the connection, the in as within, so without.
Hmm.
It really glosses over your nervous system regulation. You can't manifest if you're dysregulated.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
So,
it doesn't feel very inclusive. And when I wrote this book, it wasn't called Tarot for Manifestation. That's not the book I sold. It was called Love Letters to the Universe.
uh,
But the publisher was like, look, to market it, we really need to spell it out. When you work in fiction, you can come up with really fun titles, but when you work in
uh-huh.
nonfiction, like guided tarot, tarot manifest it, like spell it out for your reader because they're not going to sit and
Yep.
they're not going to read that deeply into it.
You know, I now have the desire to go through my bookshelf and and see how many of the nonfiction books on paganism, the occult, and cartomancy fall into alignment with what you're saying. Because just like remembering my bookshelf, which is thousands of miles away right now, as I'm in the UK and my home is in Portland, Oregon, Multnomah, Chinook lands. Yeah, like sigil magic, druid way, Wicca for the solitary practitioner.
Spell it out for the reader.
Hmm.
So yeah, so
So,
we're there. That's where we're at. And
yeah,
but I hope that people that are put off by the word manifestation will
yeah,
give this book a chance, because to me it's so much more than using the universe as your piggy bank.
yeah. I completely agree with you, and I really appreciate hearing you say all that because there was a part of me when I opened this up and I was like, I don't know this person, and I don't, I am the daughter of a librarian and an English professor. So I'm definitely, I was schooled from a young age, don't judge a book by its cover, but I had questions along those lines, and I so appreciated your voice because it's so clear in your writing that you need to do the hard work, that there is no, like, whatever the cover may look like, there is no spiritual bypassing in these pages. And and I also really appreciated, and this is one of the other places where like manifestation makes as a word makes me cringe a little bit, is because
It's cringe.
it is it is cringe.
It's
I
so
feel like
cringe.
cringe isn't necessarily something that I, as a 46-year-old person, is like in my cultural vernacular, but it's true. Um, that there is such a sense of when you're manifesting something, it's going to be quick. And I hate that. I hate that so much because everything has a season, everything has a time. We don't necessarily know what that is. And you do such a beautiful and vulnerable job talking about the time that you went through and how much time it took for your love letters to the universe to come to fruition. And I so appreciated that. What was the I and this question only comes from the publisher wanting to change the title, but was there, I certainly hope that you did not get any pushback on how much time you actually talk about? Like, did you ever receive any pressure from anywhere to make it seem like things could happen faster?
I mean, I feel like everybody on the internet is that is selling their manifestation shit is telling you that like I can get you fast results. And like I felt specifically after my book came out, and this
Hmm.
was like I was like, oh my God, nobody's gonna buy my book because one, like the title is icky, and two, I talk about quantum leaping in my book as like, hey, this sounds awesome. It's actually not.
Yeah.
And then, like, as soon as the book came out, it felt like everywhere people were like, join my quantum leap program, do this, and like quantum leaping and leaping timelines and da 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 was like the hottest thing. And I'm like,
Yeah. Ooh.
sweet, but like what manifestation actually is and what I wrote the book for was to tell people that it's not about quick little like gimmicky techniques. It's about becoming the version of yourself that is an expanded, regulated version that can hold it.
Yeah, totally.
You
Did
know,
you? I do.
um, I'm gonna
Yeah.
like go on another tangent. I'm gonna be quiet.
Go for it.
Your
Go
turn.
on another
Yeah.
tangent.
I
This
was
is
just
your
gonna say,
time.
like it's our time, and I
It is
appreciate
our
you.
time. It is our
Um,
time.
but like the when I would be actively manifesting, and I talk about in the book, I would have an eye on the prize, but I
Hmm.
would go like on these walks, and I would be like, okay, you know, you're going on a walk, it's like your eyes are moving, and you know you're
Hmm.
really doing some deep internal work. And I would say like, okay, the version of myself that has this thing, and I need to normalize it in my body.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what the tarot portion of manifesting is, to help you one normalize the stuff in your body
Hmm.
to be able to have it because you've never had it before. So
Exactly. Your nervous system
your nervous system
literally
is,
doesn't know how to handle
it's
it.
a threat. Exactly.
Yeah.
So how do you normalize it? Tarot can help with that. And then like how do you deal with the waiting, because it takes a long time. So when you're sitting there going like, okay, I did all the stuff and nothing's happening, so now I'm like not in a place of trusting. So that's where your tarot, you know, like go to your tarot as much as you need to for that, like ask for all your signs from the universe. And funny, I like
Hmm.
grabbed it and it was like the tower.
Ooh, which deck is
Ha
that?
ha ha.
Is that your
Oh, can we
deck?
talk about this? I wish. Oh my gosh. Do you ever
Mm.
see something and you're like, God, I wish I made that?
Yep.
This
Yep.
is so
100%.
this deck came out last year. This is the Infinite Door Tarot by Pamela
Ooh.
Love. And it was
Mm-hmm.
the artwork is by Chris Manecki. Manecki.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, why is my thing not in focus? But my goodness, this deck is absolutely stunning. And it was out of print, and they just announced that a second printing is coming. So
Oh,
get on
beautiful.
that. Thank you.
Beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. So, since we are new to each other, you probably don't know that one of the ways that that I've created like a little catchphrase for myself. It comes from work that I did crafting my equity lens with Matthew Reynolds, where I work to co-create a best world. And b.e.s.t is an
Mhm.
acronym for beautiful, equitable and ethical, sustainable and timely. And that's one of the things that uh, ties all of the different guests together on this channel, whether we talk about it, this philosophy explicitly or subliminally. And so I'm curious hearing that how does that land for you? Are you like, oh my gosh, these are some of the ways that I work towards beauty and equity and ethically and such? Like anything
I love
anything pop
that.
up for you that you would like to share? Maybe what a best world might look like for you.
I mean, best world for me. Wow. Okay. Um, no more patriarchy.
Yes, please.
Um, so my daughter, her favorite little song right now, and I don't even know how we heard. Oh, we were at a play group and it was playing on the thing. Miley Cyrus, Party in the USA.
Hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if you've ever heard that one, but my
I
kid
mean,
loves it. And when we're in the car, we have to listen to it over and over again. But instead of saying singing loudly Party in the USA, we
uh-huh.
sing Matriarchy in the USA.
Yes, I love that rewrite.
Yeah. So we're subliminally like putting it into just, less shouting online
Yes,
and
please.
arguing with people that are on our team. We're
Yeah.
on the same side. We don't need to split hairs.
Yep.
We don't need to, like, yes, we need to share and we need to be vocal and we need to do all
Hmm.
the things, but I'm
Yep.
what are we doing in our everyday life?
Hmm.
How how is how are we taking the patriarchy pyramid and turning it into the spiral of matriarchy in our daily life? And just do
Yeah.
those things
Yep.
because it ripples out. You
It
start
does.
and the manifestation work that we're all like using on our personal lives, like
Hmm.
will 1,000% have an effect outwardly when we're coming together. I'm starting to be a little more spicy online than I've ever been. I have a lot of Libra placements, so I'm always like, what are like, let's keep the peace, let's not rock
Hmm.
the boat, and
Yep. Make
um,
sure there's
some
balance.
yes, and harmony.
Yep.
And so I commented on a very very large person's platform who's about she was doing like a manifestation thing and she was like, here's a thing you can do and I want you to do it in the comments. I want you to start by saying things that you love and then put so when you're in that space of
Hmm.
feeling really good, like I love my husband, I love our home, I love my daughter, and then you put in the thing you want to manifest. And I put, I love that ICE was abolished and families were reunited and justice was served. And like, I was like, oh, and I looked through all the comments and I was like, oh, I'm the only person talking about like ICE in the comments here. And I'm like,
Hmm.
waiting if like I'm going to get any pushback. And,
Hmm.
and I didn't. And people
Awesome.
started, I know. So I was like, okay, now I feel a little bit more emboldened to not drop these things that are starting fights. But like when we're
Hmm.
talking about manifesting, like why don't we slide in
Yeah.
some things that would benefit the collective?
Yep. Because the personal is political and it is all connected.
Yes.
Yes.
If you are
Yes.
not political in your spiritual practice, then you are just spiritually bypassing.
I agree. I agree. Um, Hmm. For anybody who is tuning in now, if you have any questions for Stephanie, please drop, or me, but we're talking about Stephanie's book, what was originally called Love Letters to the Universe.
It's on there, tiny now.
It is. It's there. It's still there. Um, Feel free to drop your questions in the chat. I can't remember. You may have talked about this, and I'm just not remembering it, which is possible. I'm I read a lot in my current grad school program, but how you learned manifestation, spell casting, world creation. Are you largely self-taught? Did you have teachers or mentors that you want to shout out? Because there were certainly some things in here that were very similar to things that I had been taught by others, and there's and I'm not mentioning their names intentionally right now because there's part of me that's very curious if we might have some like similar teachers in our pasts, or if all of it is from you and from your own intuition.
So I have worked with mentors in the past, be it people's work that I just devoured via books and videos. And then,
Yeah.
like, during my time in New York, I got to work in person with people. But as far as like the spell work, I I learned about what being a witch was. I think from watching The Craft when I was a kid, and then whatever
Yeah.
little books I could get my hands on, which I don't
Mhm.
have any of that stuff anymore. But that was when I learned about becoming like self initiation. So I remember being like 14 years
Yeah.
old and being like, I'm calling, I'm like speaking it,
Ooh,
and I'm going to do
we lost your
something.
sound.
Oh, am I back?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know why we can't hear you now.
Can you hear me now?
No.
I can hear
But what's
you.
what's really fun. Ooh, and now I can hear you again.
Weird.
Maybe it's a little bubble just popped up in my Zoom room saying my internet is unsteady. So maybe it was just on my end. But just in case, since it is um, my link that we're streaming through, can you just back up a
Back
few?
up. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I had some, some books when I was like 14 and I did
Hmm.
like a self initiation.
Hmm.
Um, and then it kind of fell away.
Hmm.
I went to, Catholic school and whatever. And then it came really prevalently back into my life in like 2015, 2016. And I was introduced to, she goes by Goddess, Sarah Faith Gottsteiner, I think is how you say it. She made Many Moons.
Okay, I'm familiar with Many Moons.
So Many Moons, it has a book now, and she does like what are those called that I am bad at?
The
Planners.
planners.
But before they were planners, they were moon books, and they had
Hmm.
spells for each of the new and full moons,
Nice.
and then like stuff for, the quarter moons and everything like that. And it was that really got me back into the practice in a solitary way when I was,
Hmm.
and then when I got to New York and I found like my coven,
Yeah.
and I worked in person tarot wise with Lindsay Mack and Jeff Hinshaw, and they actually both um, released books and decks this year.
Oh,
So that's
nice.
cool. Congrats to them. But yeah, those were my big in person. So I don't know if those are any of the people that.
No, they are not. Mary Kay Greer has a very similar letter writing
Oh,
process.
really?
But rather than to the universe, it's as if you are writing to your best friend or someone that you're like someone who will receive whatever it is that you are
Yeah.
sharing and just like love it and be the biggest supporter of you possible with, however many years in the future, 5 years in the future, 10 years in the future, for whatever that is that like you are working towards building and bringing into your life. And so there was part of me that was like, I wonder, because it's not identical at all, but like, yeah, you
I
know,
feel like scripting for manifestation is like,
mhm.
I think pretty common knowledge.
Yeah, I agree.
And
Letter
everybody kind
writing,
of just makes it their own.
yeah.
For me, the love letters was, I think I had been so sad for so long.
Hmm.
And when I was thinking about the stuff I wanted, I wasn't feeling happy about it. I was feeling sad and like pity party that I
Yeah,
didn't have it. And
yeah,
so to me, like writing and calling it a love letter brought back some deliciousness for me.
I love that. I love that. You were talking about the moons, and that uh, led me to remember that right now we're chatting during a waning moon. Are there magics or letters that you like to write specifically in a waning moon cycle?
I think if you're writing during a waning moon, for myself, in order to call something in, you have to have space for it. So
Mhm.
in the waning, I would probably be writing about like the things that I'm letting go in order to welcome in.
Yeah, that makes
How
perfect
about
sense to me.
you?
Yeah. Waning moons for me are definitely a time of thinking about what I need to release, whether that's need to cut out of my life or come to, especially during a Mercury retrograde, like come to completion, finish tying up the loose ends so that it's not siphoning parts of my energy of like, oh, I haven't dealt with that yet. Oh, I haven't dealt with that yet, and getting all of that done. So that
Yeah.
by the time we get to the dark moon, I can be in that place of deep listening to myself and deep listening to the universe for for best next steps, for um, yeah, for best next steps. Um, Sometimes, like the Seven of Pentacles, when it's just wait, be patient, can make me get a little twitchy, but there is always a large stack of books on my bedside table that I can go to if need be. So there's always something. Yeah, um, those are some of the ways that I use the moon. It actually used to be that group tarot for about 2.5 years, give or take. We did a new moon group tarot reading every month at the exact time of the new moon, regardless of if that had me up at 3 in the morning or 3 in the afternoon. And um, that was a really lovely personal and communal practice there for a while.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Let's see. Oh, so um, the master's degree that I'm getting right now in Linklater voice work, breath work is a huge part of that, and freeing your natural voice and following your tidal breath. And when I did a little bibliomancy right before chatting with you, the page that opened up is the beginning of chapter 8. Fill your paper with the breathings of your heart
Oh, I have chills.
by William Wordsworth. And so I would love to hear how the breath for you is a part of the love letters to the universe.
Learning to slow down my breath was something that had never occurred to me. I didn't understand. Like I didn't come from this world initially. It all it felt like a big sinkhole, like the earth
Mm.
opened up and I fell into it, and through, all the life stuff, like learning about the breath, and when you slow down and pause and slow your breathing, that's when the words would drop in.
I love that. There's one of the things that we talk about in the Linklater work is that as the body is breathing itself and following the tidal breath, at the end of the exhalation, there's that moment of nothingness.
Yes.
And um, yeah, it makes perfect sense to me that that was when and where like words were falling in for you.
And it I so I have a BFA in painting, and so
Nice.
composition was always a big thing. And my now husband, we met in art school when we were very young, and he would always tell me that the best part of the painting was the negative space.
Yes.
Super hot. I don't know why I didn't get together with him sooner, but I wasn't ready. I was the immature one. But anyway, so
You
like
got
that
there.
pause
That's the
with the
important part.
breath.
You got there.
Yes. So when that emptiness of the breath, like to me, that's the negative space. And that's like
Mm,
the juiciest part.
mhm, mm, mm. Oh, I like that. Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things that came up in a previous in the conversation that I had with Anna Jarosevich about her book Slava was that there was a whole section that didn't get into her book on Slavic cartomancy practices.
Oh,
Was there? But thankfully, the upside of that is she's working on a separate book
all about it.
completely
I was gonna say,
all
like,
about
does
it.
that mean it's because it's supposed to be a whole book on its own?
Yep, it is true.
Oh, I
Was
can't
there
wait because
anything?
I'm Czech, so
Ah,
bring it.
oh, oh my gosh, it's so good. Like I'm predominantly Polish, and the and had like tons of Croatian and Slovenian friends and immigrants in the town that I grew up in, and like there were so many little things in there that I was like, oh, I didn't know that's what that was. Oh, I didn't know that's what that was. Like,
Oh, I
I
can't wait
highly
to read
recommend it.
that.
Highly
Thank
recommend
you.
it. Um, were there was there anything that you had wanted to have in your book that for whatever reason was left out? And if there was, do you want to talk about it here? Or maybe it's another, another book that's in the works for you already.
I mean, I would, I feel like I touched on, I think it was just like editing back my stories because I have
Mm,
so many examples of how this process had been showing up in my life before I was aware of it.
that makes sense.
And I feel like I got what I needed to say and they didn't have to like hold me back.
Awesome.
Thank you. I feel like the only thing I wish I would have done I wish I would have had more time to put all 78 cards into this book
Mm, that makes sense. That
because I
makes
just
sense.
when they changed the title,
Hmm.
it kind of inspired a change in the way that I was writing the book because it
Ah,
was more writing focused to
gotcha.
begin with.
Hmm.
And when they made tarot the biggest part of it, that's when I started putting in all the archetypes for each of the 8 steps of the process.
Yeah, that makes
And that
sense.
was actually really fun. Like it took a detour and I was
Hmm.
like, all right, I'm going to go with the detour.
Yeah,
And then they let me illustrate the book, which was really cool too.
that's fantastic because one of the things that other creatives have shared with me is that they wished that they had had more um, creative control in particular over the cover art and things. So I'm so glad that you got to that you were the illustrator of it. Also, I don't think I clocked that, even though I clocked that the cards were yours. Can sometimes work. Um, we have a little bit of time left. Is there I am like the next question is not bubbling up. How would you like to spend our final 10 minutes together?
Ooh, that's an excellent question. Um, well, can I just say that before I hop on a podcast or any kind of meeting, I always pull a couple of cards, kind of
Mm,
a
mhm.
what's the vibe
Yeah,
for today, and especially because we've only known one another through our
Instagram.
Instagram exchanges in the DMs, and
Yeah,
so I wanted to. Can I share the cards that I pulled for our
please.
chitty chat today?
Yes, yes, please.
Okay, so the first card that I pulled was the Chariot.
That makes perfect sense. Bringing our two worlds together towards a common goal. What did that mean for you?
So I pull my Wheel of the Year spread, and the
Mhm.
Chariot's actually my card for March. So I feel like it's connected to kind of this, like, even though things have been moving slow, and maybe it's like a shared message
Mhm.
where it's like it feels like we're taking one step forward or 2 steps forward and then like a little bit of a backslide or delays or just not the flow that we've been like hoping for.
Mhm.
It's any type of movement is actually in the right direction. And I
Mm-hmm.
felt like this conversation for us, I was like, oh, this is a conversation in the right direction for both of us.
I agree. And I am particularly tickled to hear you say that because one of the things that I did differently in preparation for chatting with you was like I always have some sort of, questions at the side to be able to tie in if things just don't pop up in the moment. But because of the master's program that I'm in right now and being very open about what the next steps after graduation are and what the evolution of this channel is. This is the first time that I very intentionally wove in questions to ask you that also tie into those other parts of my world. And so that that I agree with you completely.
Amazing. I love that. And then the other card that came with it, and this is one of those cards that I have a different kind of viewpoint about certain cards
Hmm.
than, just traditionally.
Hmm.
So it was the Five of Wands.
Ooh.
I know. So you would see it and you'd be like, oh, are we going to argue? Are we going to like disagree about something? But that's not what the Five of Wands means to me.
Uh-huh. What does the Five of Wands mean to you?
And I love that it's a hand because like I always kind of feel like it's a high five.
Well, I
It's
yeah,
like,
I am getting all sorts of fascinating hits off of that imagery, but I spoke first on the last one, so I want to hear you first this one.
so because wands are fire
Hmm.
and fives are like the contraction before the expansion, a
Hmm.
lot of times in the contraction of our fire energy, where does all the energy go? And I think that instead of where this is like fighting, or like having disagreements with other people, it's like the, five little boys hitting each other with sticks and nobody's winning. For me, it's more like because I'm an artist and I'm such a creative person, like
Hmm.
how can I move that energy when I feel like this?
Mm-hmm.
And so when I saw that, I was like, oh, this feels like a high five moment. Like we're just gonna like it's gonna flow and it's gonna go wherever it wants to go. But
Hmm.
it's like an important part of the day to like move the energy out.
I love that. The seeing that high five ness with the tendrils coming out of the fingers, the hello vibrant leaves. If you have any questions, feel make sure that you get them into the chat quickly since we are down to the last 10 minutes. Oh, I should turn those things off. Um, when I saw that card, my eye was immediately drawn to all of the energy coming out of the fingers, and so my intuitive hit on that, which is different as well than the traditional meaning of a Five of Wands, was, oh, like what are all of the different energetic tie-ins that we're going to have? Like what are the um and also that hand gesture for the stop for the pause, for the listening in silence, for that moment of nothingness in the breath cycle, like was also there, which um, one of my own personal philosophies with tarot is very much like permaculture, where the medicine for whatever challenge might be in the card is also in that same card, similar to how if there is something poisonous in the forest, then whatever it is that will heal that rash or what have you is also somewhere nearby, because that's just how things grow naturally. And
Mhm.
one of the ways to handle conflict is to just stop and take that pause and take that breath and regulate yourself. So that obviously, like, that hasn't happened with us, but I love that in that particular card for that reason.
And maybe somebody needed to hear that,
Yep,
who's going to watch this.
exactly.
It feels like that speaking about the breath and the pause has been a big theme in this conversation.
It really has. And that all of this work, whether manifesting or spellcasting or however you want to create the life that you want to live, the best world that we want to be in, the paradigm shift, the new, the matriarchy, it takes time.
Um,
It takes time. Um, so we are starting to come to the wind down. What's next for you? Is there anything that you want to plug or make sure our listeners know about?
Well, so typically before the end of a year, I have a pretty good idea of what I'm moving towards in the coming year.
Hmm.
And I have a whole, ritual that I do around welcoming it, composting, things from the previous year to really make space and honor and welcome and bring it in. And
Hmm.
everything in me at the end of 2025 was like, no, it's all different this year.
Mm.
Don't plan things, don't launch things, because everything's going to change. So all of your commitments are going to shift. And that was
Mm.
really hard because you're like, what am I going to do? What am I? And the only thing and the message was really just to get back into a place of joy and
Mm.
fun and love and creativity
Mhm.
instead of worrying about the stuff. So I'm not, the only thing that I'm doing right now is I'm having conversations on my Instagram channel that are very messy and unscripted with
Mhm.
folks that are doing things and moving forward and doing kind of radical stuff that I feel is very helpful without the use of AI,
Yes.
because
Thank
AI is fast and it's an
It's
impossible
fast.
speed to keep up with and to create alongside of. So instead of people having this, oh my God, I'm not getting my stuff out fast enough, slow down, which goes back to our conversation.
Yep.
Things aren't built, you're not going to build the foundation of the house in 30 seconds. It's going to
No.
take a long time and it's going to
Yeah.
bring up all of the issues that need to be
Hmm.
worked on and fixed. And that is where the focus should be,
Yeah.
in the
'Cause-
slow build, rather than trying to keep up with people who are launching things and putting stuff out and trying to gain attention and energy, because that's the biggest currency right now is energy and attention.
Yeah. And those foundations that are built quickly and built poorly, like those are the ones that crumble. How often in readings I have done for myself or done for others, when the tower comes up, there were an invitation to look at why the foundation failed in the first place
Yeah.
is so frequently part of the message. Okay, so Ashley Caldwell says, "Hi, Stephanie. I'm going through a dark night of the soul. I left my narcissistic husband of 20 years in January. Oh, but that's okay. There's not a question there. So Ashley, if you have a question, you are welcome to have it. Vibrant Lee tosses in that they are proud of you for leaving your narcissistic husband. Um,
We are all proud of you for leaving your narcissistic husband. Does Ashley want us to pull a card? Do we
yeah,
need to pull a card for you to guide you through your dark night of the soul? Because we could do that.
we absolutely could. I have, um, uh, yeah. Why don't? How about we finish there? So what Ashley wrote is, "Hi Stephanie, I'm going through a dark night of the soul. I left my narcissistic husband of 20 years in January. We have 3 children. I'm unemployed now after having to move, and I have CPTSD." So a card from each of us
I love that for Ashley.
for Ashley.
What'd you get?
King of Pentacles reversed. What'd you get?
I got the Page of Pentacles upright.
Hmm. So, Ashley, what this King of Pentacles reversed is saying to me is that for you, is that even as the solidity and foundation that you used to have are upside down, you still have all of the resources and the power within yourself to turn this upside down. Maybe that is asking for help. Maybe that is listening to the land. Maybe that is getting out to nature. One of the things that I love about about Lisa Sterl's illustration, is that this king is very much in nature, but also very near the city. And so remember that you have resources beyond what are just in your immediate vicinity.
I love that. I love the Page of Pentacles because pages have, they're connected to a youthful energy. So that could be your children, it could be your own inner child, it could be a combination of all of the above, but they're at the next level. They've made it through the ace, through the 10. So even though they're kind of starting over on a new journey, they're the novices, they come with more experience than they give themselves credit for.
Mm.
And this is also like a card of bringing about new change. And I love that we both pulled Pentacles cards, because when you're going through that kind of upheaval of your foundation, it's very dysregulating. And so when you have these 2 Pentacles cards, to me that says that you're building this brand new foundation for yourself. And again, it, earth, it moves slow.
Mhm.
and it's not going to look the way it did before, but it's going to be according to your design this time.
Yeah, I love that.
Me too. We're sending you a lot
Well,
of love.
yeah. Hope things get better for you, Ashley. Well, friends, that is our hour. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Stephanie, and thank you for the ending flurry of delight in the chat. I'm sorry we don't have more time because I want to be respectful of Stephanie's time.
Were there more
So
questions?
there was another person did ask if Vibrantly said that they would love a card if time permits on starting over at age 37.
Oh my gosh, you don't even need a card. Do it. 37 is such a badass year. Eh, that's okay.
I
Here we
I
go.
have to agree with you. Lots can happen at 37. Well, if you're
Wow.
okay staying in
Yes.
for
Yes.
another few
If you
minutes,
are, I am. I'm like, let's pull a quick card
let's
because
let's
you can
let's
start
do it.
like my whole, like everything in me is like, please start over, especially in your late 30s. All right, friend, what can we what can we give you?
All right.
Okay. What'd you get?
Vibrant, vibrantly. Uh,
Stop.
so yeah, it's a great time to start over.
It's a great time to start
It's
over.
a great time to start over. You have all of the tools that you need. The world is your oyster. Where do you want to go? Go. Like, yes. And this is actually one of my favorite pieces of advice that my therapist gave me when I was coming to grad school at 46, and I was like, my age, what are like the differences? And she was like, remember that even though you are beginning, you are still bringing all of your wisdom, all of your experience. So vibrantly, you are not remember that you're not starting over from scratch. You are building upon an already completed, beautiful, brilliant journey that's ready for what's next.
And if you're an astrology person, like you start your midlife transits at like 37. So you're in this like process where you're probably like, there's probably like some kind of Saturn square, a Pluto square that are taking the things out of your life that aren't meant to be there. We'll see you when you get to like 43, 44. And then you really like, start hitting your stride.
Well, thank you. And
Sending
vibrantly,
love, I hope.
uh, all sorts of, oh my God, amazing. Thank you. I needed this. So you're so welcome. And Stephanie, thank you so much.
Thank
This has
you.
been an absolutely delightful way to get to know
First
you.
date.
First date,
First
indeed.
date.
A delightful first cartomancer's date.
Yes, thank you. I really appreciate you taking a chance on my book and taking a chance on me and having me on your show. I have really enjoyed getting to know you. This is lovely.
Well, the pleasure is all mine. I will put all of the links to Tarot for Manifestation in the box
Thank you.
below. It might take me a little bit, but it'll upload eventually, and I'll put all of the links to how to make sure that you follow Stephanie there as well. And if you would like to help support this channel, consider becoming a patron. And with that, friends, have a beautiful rest of your Saturday or whatever day it happens to be when this video comes up in your feed.
Yay. Bye. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Take care.
You too.